This is 8th grade math, order of operations 1.2, which is page 8 in your book. So we'll always start with key vocabulary. You're writing the vocabulary with me. So we go in your notes and we start off with a numerical expression. And these are right here with page 8. You'll see some highlighted, about the second paragraph on page 8, there's some highlighted words, and they are some of the vocabulary. So we start with numerical expression. It just says it consists of numbers and operations. So an example of a numerical expression could be something like 7 plus 3 times 2. Okay, there's numbers and there's operations. Evaluate means find the value. Or in other words, answer. It's another way to look at it. Okay, order of operations, you remember in the years past we've talked about order of operations. We've used this little thing to help us. Oops, I don't know how I do that. This little thing to help us, which is this little PEMDAS. Okay, remember P is parentheses, E is exponent, M, D, multiply, divide, add, subtract. And I always put arrows above these because you do those in order from left to right. They call that the left to right rule. If you would look on page 8 in your book, there's a key concept box. And it does go over, if you want to add those steps in there, or you just want to say what these words are. The first step, you can put it right here, number 1. It says evaluate expressions within the grouping symbols. That's the parentheses. Okay, and then number 2, it says evaluate, actually I would add another one in there. Do the powers and the exponents, that's the E. And then number 3, you multiply, multiply, pen doesn't like me again, multiply and divide. How that happens. From left to right. And then number 4, you add and subtract. I don't know how I'm doing this, sorry. From left to right. So you can get that out of the book on page 8. There's 3 steps there. I know I added one, which was the powers. Okay? Then the last thing, they talk about a verbal model. And what a verbal model does is it uses words to describe a situation. Okay? So we'll talk more about that when we get to it. But there's a good start on our vocabulary. So you have that written down. Sorry for the kind of sloppy, but the pen and I don't get along very well. Hopefully that will get better. Alright, so let's look at example number 1, which is at the bottom of page 8. It says evaluate the expression 7 plus 16 divided by 4 times 2. Well, following that, I always use that as a guide, PEMDAS. M-D-A-S. There are no parentheses, there are no exponents, there's multiplying and dividing, so we go in order from left to right. We don't multiply right here before we divide because we have to do them in order. So that's why the 16 divided by 4 is in red. So we do that first, which is 4. And so let's see them do that. I bet you they'll do that first here. So divide 16 by 4. And then we end up with 7 plus 4 times 2. So we always multiply. Following PEMDAS, we always multiply before we add. So it's going to be 7 plus 8, and that comes out to be 15. And you have to do it in that order. You can't take 7 plus 4 first, then times 2. You'll miss it. That's order of operations. So they multiplied the 4 times 2 and got 8. Oh, look at that, I almost wrote right on them. And then the answer comes out to be 15. Alright, so the guided practice, I don't know why those are written twice, but oh well, I guess we're seeing double. We have 16 minus 2, or minus 6 divided by 2 plus 12. Following PEMDAS, we know we have to divide before we can do any adding or subtract, so we've got to do that part first. So it's going to be 14 minus 3. 6 divided by 2 is 3, plus 12. And this is adding and subtracting, so I go in order from left to right since that's all that's left. So 14 minus 3 is 11, plus 12 is 23. So let me see if I have the answers on here. I don't know if I did it right. Did. And look, 23. Good deal. So we'll take this one again. We're following PEMDAS. We have to multiply before we can add. So we go 20 minus 14, which remember, by the way, you're writing these with me. Then we have subtracting and adding, so we go in order. 20 minus 14 is 6 plus 1, which is 7. Let's see how the book did it. I probably wrote on them again. So they get 14 like we did, they subtracted like we did, and ended up with 7. Good deal. Okay, this one has some multiplying. Remember, multiplying comes before subtraction. So 2 times 13 is 26, and then we just leave the minus. 2 times 7 is 14. 26 minus 14 is 12. So we're done. And knowing basic facts helps. You know, if you can add fast or multiply fast, just makes math a lot easier, a lot simpler if you can get through it. A little bit quicker, comes out to be 12. Notice I did it a little bit different than what they did, but we still came up with the same answer. Okay, example 2, using grouping symbols. Grouping symbols are those parentheses. So parentheses, and sometimes they're brackets. Brackets look like these. You can use brackets also for grouping symbols. And they also have fraction bars that group numbers on the top and on the bottom, like this could be 7 plus 2 and 3 minus 1. That groups from a numerator and a denominator. Well, this one we have parentheses, so remember in red we do that first because we always do parentheses and PEMDAS. So we add, we get 20 times 8. Notice this time we can add before we multiply because it's in the parentheses, because we have to do what's in the parentheses first. So 20 times 8 then would be 160. So there's, let's see if they do. Add what's in the parentheses first. 20 times 8 is 160. So then we have our fraction bars, so we could do on the top and the bottom. So we first do the tops. 9 times 8 is 72. And then down here we add, that's 12. And 12 goes into 72 6 times. 6 times 12 is 72. I'm a little rusty after the summer on my facts. I need to brush up on them a little bit. Comes out to be 6. Wow, look at this one. Whoosh. So we have all division, and we have a bracket, and we have parentheses, and parentheses inside, and that's a 6, I think. That kind of looks like a parenthesis. Let me see in the book exactly what that is. I don't even know. Yep, that's a 6. So we go in, we're going to go into the innermost parentheses first. That's where we're going to start. And we do 56 divided by 8, which is 7. And then we work our way out. We're still in the grouping symbol, so we got to do 63 divided by 7, which is 9. That's what that one comes out to be. Then 45 divided by 9, which is 5. That was kind of fun, trying to just doing all that division. You start in the innermost and work your way out. Oh, they even used innermost. Look at that. Sounds just smart today. Then we did that. 63 divided by 7. They just wrote it out a little bit nicer. 45 divided by 9 comes out to be 5. Okay, example 3, using a verbal model. Here's in the vocabulary we talked about using words. Find the total cost of the visit to the aquarium described on the previous page. You can use a verbal model to write and evaluate the expression. So that visiting an aquarium is at the top of page 8, the very top of it. It says, you and 4 friends visit an aquarium, but only 3 of you go to the movie at the aquarium. What is the total cost of the visit? You will find the total cost of the visit using the prices in the table at the right in example 3 and applying the order of operations. So the total of cost equals, we have our price of admission, right here, the number of people, plus the movie price and the number of people who saw the movie, which gives us our total cost. So we look at the chart. Let me see if the chart comes up on here, if it just goes right to the answer. Okay, substitute in values. So what do we know? On the chart, the admission is $13.50. So we put in right here $13.50 times the number of people. It was you and 4 friends, so you and them make 5, plus the movie is $8, and only 3 of you go to the movie, so that's 8 times 3. So we multiply before we add, so we got to multiply these and these. Well, 8 times 3 is easy, that's 24. 1350 times 5, I don't know what that is. So we go 0, 5 times 5 is 25, 15, 16, 17, carry the 1. And the decimal goes 2 over, 6750. Plus 24, line those up. Okay, I'm getting 9150. Is the total. So I used that verbal model and substituted the values in. Let's see what they do here. Right on it. 6750 plus 24, which is what we got. 9150. Looks good. So guided practice for examples 2 and 3. We go through and we do the parentheses first for PEMDAS. 9 minus 4 is 5, so it's going to be 35 divided by 5 is 7. That's good. We're going to go through for us, divide, 7. All right, now we have those parentheses and the brackets, so we go in the innermost, which is the 11 minus, right here, 11 minus 1 is 10. We're still inside the brackets. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Times 3 comes out to be 6. Let's see how they did it. They subtracted, they got the 10. They divided in the innermost, got 2. And 3 times 2 is 6. They multiplied. Okay, there's another grouping symbol, which is the fraction bar, so we're going to add the top. 45 plus 19, well, 45 plus 20 is 65. Take 1 off, that would be 64. And 8 times 2 is 16, and I believe it goes in there 4 times. I think 16 times 4 is 64. Kind of a common one that is used a lot in math. See what happens. 8, 16, we divide, comes out to be 4. Okay, the guided practice, last one. What if, suppose 50 students go to the aquarium and the movie in example 3. It costs $35 to park their school bus. Use a verbal model to write and evaluate an expression for the total cost of their visit. Use the a verbal model, which is the same one that they had. 50 students, remember it's going to cost them $13.50 each to get in, so times 50. You remember back from that one, plus $8 for the movie times 50, plus $35 to park their school bus. Now we don't have to take that times 50 because that's just a one-time payment. So we go through and let's simplify. 1350 times 50, I'll take it times 5 and we'll add a 0. That'd be 15 and 17, carry the 1. Oh, that's what I did before. I think 6750, add the 0. Wow. That's going to be $675 right here. Plus 8 times 5 is 440, add the 0. $400 for the movie, plus $35 to park the bus. Wow. Add that, that'd be 5, 7, and then add the 35 to it. $1,110 would be the total cost for 50 people. Boy, I hope they have a group rate to save a little bit of money. Anyway, there we go. I think, let's see if they give us the answer. I probably wrote all over it. Substitute the values like I did. Remember I was talking back about that one. Multiply, there's my numbers. $675, $400, $35. You add them together. So it would cost you $1,110 to go to that aquarium. So that'll do it for 1.2. You can work on the assignment now. See you later.